Hi everybody, welcome back. Here is a 14-inch clock round, and if you saw one of our recent videos, we had a commission for a clock face where they wanted mostly purple, and the color combinations I used, although most were purple, had a little bit of a fuchsia look. So I wanted to give the customer two choices. So this is the second choice. And I'm using the bloom recipe. So I have the house paint down in the clock round. And there was some globbies in there. So that's what you were seeing me grab with the tweezers there. So in my mind, I had this idea that I would lay the paint sideways and try to swipe it in more of a circular motion, like maybe like you would if it was a full round without the little clock hole. And so I am using a few solid colors. I'm using Liquitex Basics Deep Violet, and I'm using Permanent Violet Dark by Golden. The color I'm putting right on the top of all of those is a mixture of Amsterdam Blue Violet with golden dioxazine purple. I'm also using Interference Gold and Interference Violet by Colourarte and Golden Bright Iridescent Gold. I did forego the Vavoom Red in this particular one because I was afraid to use too many colors that had sort of a magenta hue. So what I did is I laid the colors down pretty much the same. I put the Liquitex Permanent Dark on one side and the Deep Violet on the other with the gold in the middle. And then I put a little bit of the gold on the bottom. I also put both interference colors and then the Blue Violet Dioxazine Purple at the very top of all of them. And I'm swiping with a black cell activator instead of a white one, which is what I think I used in the last pour. Anyway, it is very rare that what you kind of envision in your mind actually works out. And when I start swiping this in a minute, you'll see that it could either be a really humongous train wreck or it could work. And I really enjoyed doing this. I kind of wish I had actually just recorded the process instead of done a voiceover. But the first clock face video was kind of long, so I didn't want it to be too long. Anyway, this is, again, a 14-inch round. I got the clock face off Blick. And of course it'll be finished with resin. I did not wait to finish it and actually put the clock together before I edited the video. Because I wanted you guys to see both results. And I'll let you know, I did reach out to the client and the client liked both of them and actually ended up picking the first one that we thought was too pink. So there you have it. I really like the way the black cell activator kind of amplifies the colors. I really enjoyed using it. Now I can tell you at this point, I was looking at this thinking, well, that's pretty, but then logistically I was like, how am I going to connect the dots so this doesn't just look like three giant streaks in three different places. So I tried really hard to kind of account for the negative space in between, but I tried to not focus too much on that while I was swiping because I was like, this is not the finished result, don't freak out yet. But I can honestly say I was really pleasantly surprised by this piece. So in case you're watching and thinking, this is going to be a train wreck, it's not going to be so bad. So I have since resined it, and I will be posting the resined piece on social media. So please follow us there. Our links are below. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, we would love for you to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, tell us what you think. Also, if you haven't taken Shelley's class, her course is amazing, and it really does take your art to another level. I can tell you, I learned the bloom recipe before I took Shelley's course, and I still feel like it really, really changed things for me. So there's a 15% off promo code in the description box below. It's a great time to take it. So I would love for you guys to experience that. You also get to be part of a great community of other people who have taken the class too. And that is really priceless in my opinion. So about this time, you can see that now I'm like, what am I going to do about all these random negative spaces? And I can also see that I spaced out my swipe areas. One of them was a little far out. But now we're going to start to turn it and see what happens. Now, I personally am still kind of adjusting to tilting a round surface. But what I like about round surfaces is you can sort of control the flow a little bit. I mean, I guess you can with any surface, but if you're wanting it to kind of flow with the round direction, you can kind of control that. So I'm trying really hard to not tip off the parts that I like, but there is a lot of like white in that one spot, but some of the stuff around it I really like. So I was like, well, maybe I don't want to tip it all off. And it's kind of hard to see at this angle. But you know how the YouTube is. It's much easier if we have a horizontal view for your viewing, but you get a lot more of the picture sometimes if we leave it straight. But my favorite parts, obviously that really bold purple is part of it, but this lacing that is currently at the top is probably one of my favorite parts, especially after resin. It just turned out beautiful. But this was one of those pieces that I was super pleasantly surprised that it did what I wanted it to do. So what you see me doing here is just sort of continuing to tilt in somewhat of a circular motion so that some of the composition kind of follows that circular pattern, and it doesn't look like three separate triangles. That's what I wanted to avoid. But let me tell you, when I finish this, it is by no means a masterpiece compared to some of the things that I have seen, but I was so excited. I ran into the garage where my husband was working, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to see this. And he saw the picture. He's like, that's nice, sweetie. And I was like, you were not sufficiently excited. So I sent a video to my sister and one of our friends, and I was like, look at this. And I was ecstatic about how it turned out, because what I had in my mind somewhat actually happened, and so I could not have been more thrilled. So for those of you who've kind of followed the previous piece and this piece, the client, I gave him the option. He loved both of them, but he actually chose the first one. So this little clock will be for sale. It has been resined. The back just needs to be cleaned up, and it needs a clock motor, of course, but it will be for sale. If you are interested, please email us. It will go up on Etsy eventually. Our social media links are also below. Again, if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. And if not, we would love for you to subscribe. Give us a like, give us a comment, hit that notification bell. Again, 15% off promo code in the description box for Shelley's class. And here's just a close-up so you can see the cells and the lacing. That's one of my favorite parts right there. And that top left right there is one of my favorite parts. And then, of course, the other part on the right in the corner. Really was pleasantly surprised. And I like somewhat of the muted color for some negative space. I think that really adds a lot of character. So needless to say, I was very pleasantly surprised. Yeah, so thanks again for watching. Would love to know what you think. It looks like I gave you the close-up video a few times. So here we are closing up again. But I just love the traces of gold and the interference gold throughout the piece. It's just totally blew my mind at how it turned out. I did forget to mention when I swiped the cell activator that I put it on the little card and then I swiped from there. I think I'm so used to you guys knowing what I'm doing that I forget to tell you. So sorry about that. But again, thanks for watching. Thank you for all your support. Very excited. Have a great day.